I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today. It's a community meeting. Yes, we're going to start off with a prayer and have everyone introduce themselves and who they're representing, and then we'll start the prayer.
My name is John Holden with the Animal Group.
And my name is Tony Robinson, also with the Animal Group, one of the spokespersons, probably here in the park.
And my name is Marquita Hollingsworth. I'm a resident of Winter Park. I'm also on the board for the Hannibal Square Community Land Trust. And I've been a resident here for 26 years. I'm also a homeowner here.
And as much as this is a kind of like an open community meeting, we're going to ask if we can maybe sing a song. We'll do a quick prayer, and we welcome to have the Mr. Bellows group, if you will, join us up front. I think that would be only appropriate you feel. So you can join us up front, please. Someone's got a good voice. Next, help me out. You come to talk about me. You know, I'm sorry.
I'm Mary Kendall, and I'm a resident of the community. But I just wanted to say that I think a lot of people have never had a taste of the Black spiritual traditional church, and the song that you're talking about singing comes from that very rich tradition, and it's very powerful if you listen to the words.
Thank you.
And if you don't mind, would you please just stand while you
We've come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord, trusting in His holy word. He's never failed me yet.
Why we sing, oh,
Can't turn around. We've come this far by faith.
we have
Come this far by faith.
every day leaning.
Leaning on the Lord.
We are trusting,
Trusting in His holy word.
because He never failed.
He's never failed me yet.
Oh, that's why we sing, oh,
Can't turn around. We've come this far by faith.
Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come together today to lift up your name. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for the community for which we all have ties to. We ask you, Heavenly Father, to be in the midst of what we do here this evening, that everything that we do here this evening will be pleasing in your sight. Lord, guide us and direct us. Help those that are less fortunate, Lord. Give those a sense of direction. Lord, we ask that you stay with us. Guard our homes, guard our children, and guard our community. This we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Let's start introducing everyone else first.
Ken Kramer with David Weekly, and we are working with Dan to get Dan Bellows to get the property under contract. So then I guess if it all worked out, we would buy the land and then develop it and build the homes and sell the homes. So that's kind of the plan of how that works.
Hi, I'm Kim Booker. I'm an attorney with 15 corporations.
And I will introduce ourselves. Does anyone want to introduce yourself? Okay, everyone in the audience is representing the Winter Park community. Okay. All right, so basically we're just having a meeting. At the April 8th meeting, Those out there basically want to get a rezone for a R4. And with that, Comm'ty is completely against that. And basically, our stance is we want to keep it R1. We did have a community meeting last week. Our earliest was on the 18th. And we did send out basically a summary of what was discussed. But at the end of the meeting, we basically agreed that we want to keep it R1. And we did make a discussion as far as like, if the city says anything else, then we will kind of take it from there. But as far as what we're saying, we're sticking with R1 right now.
Okay.
So I guess we just opened up.
So the conditions that are in this memorandum are no longer.
It was just something that was,
effective,
it was
or-
just something that was discussed. It wasn't a set, just something that put a discussion on the table.
We discussed all of those issues, but in the final analysis, once a vote is taken, it's unanimous that we want to keep it R1.
Okay.
This was more so like minutes of the meeting.
I see. No, I appreciate that. So, yeah, just a list of kind of brainstorming that went on.
Correct.
And you had all the different ideas discussed. I mean, I don't represent, Singet, but, I mean, I'll just talk as in because I'm the guy who ultimately would, like I said, develop and come up with a product that's going to work for resale.
Before you do that, I think what I'd like to do, if you don't mind, Madam Chairman, is to just go over the reasons why we citizens don't want the R1, if that's okay.
How much do you want?
Well, I do want the R1, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Sure.
You're on the same page with me.
That's sort of a question. The instructions from the Planning and Zoning Board were that Mr. Bellows meet with us face to face and have a discussion and listen to what people from the community want to say. And I'm wondering why he isn't here tonight.
Well, we're representing him.
I understand that, but the direction from the Planning and Zoning Board was that Mr. Bellows come and meet face to face with the people from the West Winter Park neighborhood and community. And he is not here.
I believe that it's more about the applications being made on behalf of David Weekly. And it's felt that, any kind of compromise in connection with this transaction, obviously, they're the ones that are going to have the final say. So any resolution to this matter really can be accomplished with David Weekly being here. And I'm not sure what
The other
Dan.
owner of the property, communication was an issue. There was no communication from Mr. Bellows, who says that he represents lots of people in the Winter Park community. Communication was a big issue at that planning and zoning meeting. And to communicate what his thoughts and ideas are, Mr. Bellows needs to be here. And I think that's a big part of the problem, is that he doesn't communicate with people in the community. He sends representatives.
Well, if I'm not Dan Bellows' representative, I'm David Weekly Homes representative, and I'm here just for that if it were to go through this, any level of rezoning, whatever happens with this property, as we're involved, I mean, I'm speaking to how we would develop and build homes on that. So I'm representing David Weekly Homes.
I would say that.
Can I finish, please? I'm representing David Weekly Homes. And as far as Dan not being here, I can't say why he is or why he isn't here, but I actually see it as a couple of choices. We can go ahead and meet and try to come up with something, or make it productive in some way. All of you are certainly welcome when you get the Planning and Zoning Board meeting it's going to be very clear to them that Dan was not here. But we all spoke about it, and this is what we accomplished or didn't accomplish. Or we can just all go home.
Before we have any more discussion, let's do this. Madam Chairman, allow me. The question was asked, why is Mr. Bellows not here? And if I'm not mistaken in the introductions,
You sent his representative, I represent him.
Okay, and then can we ask you the question, why
Yes.
did he come?
Well, because he's been his representative, I mean, obviously at this point, let me ask you a question. You've taken the position, because you sent this memorandum around to everyone that indicated there were certain conditions. So if we were here under the assumption that there were some conditions here that you wanted and that we were going to try to reach some kind of compromise. It's obvious now you've taken a position that you want R1A only. So I'm not sure why we're here. I mean, if the purpose is to work a compromise,
The city's,
then we're here to work with
well,
you.
the city's question was, I want to hear from the community what their vision of the area is. That's what they stated, what the residents' vision for that zoning area is. And to get with Mr. Bellows and let him know what that vision is. This is what we feel it is, right? And that's what we're here today for. And he's not here to even see what our vision is.
Well, we're here to bring back your vision, and we're going to be working on the project. We're going to be, assisting him in making decisions. So we're here to work with you and to hear what your vision is and find out what we can do.
So then we can comply with the city's request, but he can't.
Well, he's here, and in fact, it's a corporation.
We can't change the fact that he's not here right now, so I think, just to keep the meeting going, if we could go on through our presentation,
Sounds great.
and then you could see if your vision fits within our vision, and then we'll start the discussion from there.
Sounds great.
I took looking to do a little PowerPoint presentation to share with all here today about a little bit. Can we turn out the front here? I don't know. A little bit. It's basically just to share what the vision should be in a single-family residential neighborhood. The precedence has already been set. Single-family homes, Habitat for Humanity has come in with the land trust, built homes that are conducive to single-family and affordable homes here in the city of Winter Park. With that being said, we know, and that's why we're here, the request of City Corporation to change the zoning, do other different things with the comprehensive plan to change a certain area, which is that corner of Canton, West Canton, and North Capeland, into R4 multi-family residential community. Is that correct? Would that be correct?
That was
his
the original
proposal.
application.
Okay,
Yeah.
original application. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. This is a little bit better blow up of that particular area. And we're talking right now, all of this is West Canton, we got North Capeland. All of this is R4. You see how that's encroaching over all this single family? Mr. Bellows could not get this property. He's purchased numerous amounts of property in this area. And this is my take. As this is continuing to go R4, for a developer, he just wants to continue that coming back. He's already asked for it. Which is going to do what? It's going to displace a lot of people. It's going to increase property value because Mr. Bellows said the homes that he was looking to put there multifamily were $400,000 each per unit. I don't know about you, but I can't afford $400,000. So this is the proposal that's before the city. The comprehensive plan, this is what it says in chapter 1. And therefore, the city's goal is to maintain an individual identity, character, natural environment, and socio-economic and ethnic diversity. Building these multi-family units at $400,000 a pop, get away from single family, does not help ethnic diversity. It doesn't stay with the individual character of the city. It changes the whole entire character of the area. So that's what we're arguing about. That's the problem we have here. The Honorable Kenneth W. Bradley said this back in 2013. Winter Park is great because the people of Winter Park are great. People who watch out for each other and assure their mutual safety. That's why we're here today. We're looking out for each other. If we don't stand for ourselves, who's going to stand for us?
All right.
Mr. Bellows and the City Corporation, we've seen what they are doing to our communities. And if we don't stand firm, nobody's going to stand for us. So that's why we're here today. We're standing firm and say, you know what, we do have a voice. Mr. Citian is one voice. Look at all the voices here. You can't just listen to one voice, you have to listen to everybody. So then, the city asks us, what's the residents' vision then for the area? What's your vision for the area? What's your vision for the zoning request that City has put before us? He said unanimously keep the area zoned for R1A as originally intended, single family. We voted that unanimously, didn't we? Now, here's the property that's in question. Here's a home that's still there, and what we as a community need to understand, corporations, Mr. Bellows tried to get that shoe, couldn't get it. Now this is public record. I went on the internet to find out why couldn't he get it. He went on there, wanted to take it for his own personal gain, and it went all the way to the Supreme Court. He wanted to take it through eminent domain for his own personal use. Search it out on the internet, you'll find it yourself. It's public record. That's what he did. But he didn't win. The Florida State Supreme Court said no. And it's time for the residents to say no. Enough's enough. Reasons for the developer's request we heard at the P&Z meeting. Well, the current parking garage is too big to build single-family homes. Isn't that what he said? It's too big to build single-family homes. I've already purchased parking spaces for my new multi-family facility. I've done that already. And of course, the bottom line with any developer, I'm going to make $400,000 a unit. I understand business. I'm a business person myself. You're in business to make money. But how much is too much? And at what expense do you make that money? You have to ask yourself that. Well, then how can the residents' vision be achieved then if we want single-family homes there, R1A, to stay the same? One suggestion was to provide a landscape in the form of evergreen trees or different type of foliage. You can layer the foliage, different heights to create a buffer zone or a screen to block unwanted views of the garage. It's easy to do. If you look at that photograph a little closer, that's right here in Winter Park. There's only one Canyon and Denton. It's that little park area, isn't it? Do you see the buildings behind there? Because the little park masks all of that, doesn't it? So it can be done, can't it? Can be done. This is just a little plan to show you that typical architects will come in and they want to hide something, they screen something. You have different size trees, different height levels, and they go through and they figure all this out to make sure that you can mask or screen whatever you want to try to screen. Up and too far. Let me go back to this one. Okay, here we go. I'm going to show this one. And here's another layout, basically, of an architect's rendering of masking areas. Here's a parking lot. We don't want to see it. They've planted trees along here to hide everything along this area. Put trees here, block this area over here, which is access to a transit stop, so you can't even see it as you're driving up to it. You don't see it until you actually get up on it. So it's a technique that's been used for years and years and years in design. And this technique was previously used by Mr. Bellows. There was an unwanted sign on his property. And he used this technique to hide the sign, didn't he? He used landscaping. He's already shown it can be done. Here are a couple of quotes again from the internet, from the Orlando Center. Mr. Bellows, the city again, says, I'm into a green community. Well, we want you to plant some plants, some trees to hide the garage. Bellows said those billboards, not all billboards, are blighted. What did he do? See, he did it, didn't he? And then he goes on to say that the same article is very frustrating to attempt to do business and have some company think they are so big that they don't have to talk to the little guy. We're the little guy today. Where is he? He doesn't think he needs to talk to us. What does he do? He sends his representative. There's already been an established single-family model in Hannibal Square. I told you, Land Trust, they've come through, put some nice homes in, along with Habitat for Humanity. You go Canton Park, West Comstock, Virginia Avenue, Simmons Avenue. You can see all these nice things that have been done in the community to keep a single-family home. That's a beautiful home, isn't it? Yes. Guess what? It's affordable. And it's single-family. There's another one. Still affordable, single family. Here's one that's been remodeled and refurbished. An existing home that's been remodel it. It can be done. Keep the character of Winter Park. We're not changing. All these new homes that have come up have not changed the character of Winter Park. But a 4-story multi-family unit will change the character of Winter Park. Here's a 2-story. It was told us you can put 2 stories on an R1 lot. We're not arguing against that. But it's still single family, isn't it? So, what does the resident's vision look like then, if we want to stick with R1? Here's the lot. First thing they want to tackle is the view of the garage, right? Put some trees in. Where's the garage? Not a big deal to me now. Well, let's put some homes in. We're going to put the ones that are already in the neighborhood. There's a 2-story. There's the 1-story. There's the other 1-story. Doesn't that corner look really good right now?
Yes.
It can be done. That's why we, the residents of Winter Park, and with the other reasons that Bob spoke of at the PNC meeting, with not meeting the comprehensive plan the way it is now, we're trying to make a lot of changes to that, which the city has already established. The city has already had their employees even look at it and said no to their request. And we've come up to our same conclusion in our meetings, that we want single-family housing zoned R1. Thank you very much.
Well, now knowing what the community vision is, we'll open the floor to you to kind of, I guess, does your vision fit to our vision?
Well, okay, no, not R1A. I mean, the original was the R4 with, I believe, 4-story against the garage and 3-story out on the street. And I don't have elevation to show, my architect could not get it done in time, but I do have a site plan where we've done 2-story out on the street, attached townhomes, and then 3-story back against the garage. So that, that is the kind of even before talking to all of you, what we came out of the PNC meeting with, and looked at the kind of architecturally, what could we do and still make the deal work.
Will the 2 stories be multi-family?
They're attached. They're
Townhomes.
They're attached. Yeah, and all this, as before, is fee simple, for sale housing, not rental. There you go. And the intent was that I would actually have elevations to bring, but we've got the floor plan and we pulled it together at this point. The architect could not, who actually is an employee of ours, could not get elevations together at the time. I don't. Here's what I took. The problem is we do have, for this type of floor plan, we have some elevations, but they were all like Mediterranean or more transitional style. And we know that's not, we don't want that look, and we know that's not the right look for here. So what I asked them for is something that has more of a craftsman, bungalow elements, and we don't have that on the shelf, so they had to redraw it and redesign it. I don't have it yet. Obviously, I went by the PNC meeting or whatever the cutoff date to get it put in, but I just didn't have it.
So in no other community that you develop housing and all, do you have a bungalow type something? It didn't have to be exactly what you were going to build there. It could have been an example of what you have already done somewhere else that will give us a general idea. Because right now, I'm insulted that we're in a tech-savvy 21st century and you still take us for granted that, we can just show them anything, do anything. And I personally don't understand why we're talking to you when Mr. Bellows is supposed to be here and his representative haven't said anything.
Well, the fact that we're all
Some of
here.
that, like a sketch or something, because we can look at this and get a vision, but a lot of times, everyone has a trained eye to look at
And-
it.
He really wanted to do that, and he
Honestly,
didn't
I'm
want to
curious.
present something that's not what
Well, no.
they're going to do, so he wanted to have it.
I guess
Mostly
that's
I'm
right,
curious
we don't
of
want
my
to see it at the
architect.
last second, and then it gets postponed.
Of course. And to answer your question is, we do bungalow all over the place. We do a lot of bungalow, and if And I'm really upset at our architect, who is an employee of ours, that he did not get it done. Because I had ordered it 10 days ago, and he dropped the ball and let me down not having the architecture. He really did. But we do know Craftsman, and Craftsman style is going to be, I mean, you think of Craftsman, you've got pillars, you know, you've got the stone and brick at the bottom of it, you've got the little, you know, brackets. But if you go, I hate to send people to our website, but I mean, if you went in, we have tons of Craftsman architecture. However, I don't have anything for this specific building.
What's the maximum height? Two-story.
You know, they're two-story, they're a typical two-story. I mean, unfortunately, I'm not an architect to say how high. You are, is that correct? Do you know how high is it? I mean, it's a standard.
30 feet.
It's a standard two-story building.
So it'll go under the 30
Yeah.
feet.
Typically zoning codes say two-story, 35 feet as a not to exceed. And we never, you know, you don't ever get to the 35 feet. But it's a typical two-story.
And are these flat front or are they like
They would have
setback?
articulation. Well, no, they certainly, the primary facade is flat. However, it has articulation in it as far as, you know, it's going to have gables on the front. It will have, some of the things I had seen had, you know, windows that stuck out. They could, yeah, I could see them have a porch, absolutely. Absolutely, they could have a porch. You know, with some roofing there.
I have a major concern here. First of all, it's like you're putting the cart before the horse. And the requests were from the city,
Yes.
the requests were to the city to rezone, to amend the comprehensive plan, and to combine lots. So you wouldn't even come into the picture. The agreement between you and the Sit-Gran group, that's a business agreement between you all. So the Sit-Gan group needs to be on the table. They're the ones who made the request to the city. They're the ones who's asking for the comprehensive plan to be amended. They're the ones who are asking for the zoning to be rezoned. They're the ones who are asking for the lots to be combined, so you wouldn't even come into the picture until that has been accomplished. Let me finish. The other part, and P&Z, one of the members of the board asked you a question, asked him and you answered it. What are the demographics of what you're proposing to build? You said it's not going to be in the 300,000, it's going to be in the 400,000. So even for workforce housing, the city has done a study, and I believe are still doing a study for workforce housing. So still encroaching into this community and proposing to put $400,000 units, you're not still addressing workforce housing. People that work for your own, for the city and all the other places, the firemen, the policemen, the average person cannot afford to live there. That $400,000 in that part, okay, that's that block. He has bought in other parts of this community. So if that, you're setting a precedent, so if that gets passed, what block is next? What street is next? And every time you build something, yes, they're very nice, but $400,000, let's face it. We have professionals, we have people who are educated, who's gone to school and have degrees just as anyone else. But $400,000 is not something that someone can afford. So I haven't seen anything in developments that he's done where he's tried to provide for workforce housing so people can live in the community. So in other words, it's a price and gentrification. And I just have to be blunt. I have to call it the way I see it. And it's nothing personal against Mr. Bellows or anybody. It would be the same thing if it was another developer proposing to do the same thing in the community. So it's nothing personal. We've just had enough. We've seen enough. And it just continued piecemeal. And I think staff needs to take a good look at making concessions to it appears that you all are doing a case-by-case amendment to the comprehensive plan to fit the developer that's coming with a proposal. And that wouldn't happen anywhere else in the city of Winter Park. But it's happening in this community. Parking garage and all of that has been approved because of the developer. And the amendments that's been happening is you're amending to allow what they are proposing to happen. And I think it's detrimental to the community, it's detrimental to all of Winter Park, and what you have to understand, but I guarantee you if that proposal come anywhere else, you'll have more people here than we are. They are going to take a stand too, because if it was happening in their community, and just close your eyes for a few seconds and just imagine that this is a street in the community that you live in, that is happening where you live. That I'm not an African-American girl that's here proposing that. Just for a second, just imagine.
And be honest.
And be honest with yourself and everybody else.
Yes, be honest.
You wouldn't want it in your backyard, your front yard, or your side yard. It's time, and give me a second here. It is time. And we've been fighting this fight for a long time. And we'll fight it also on a case-by-case basis. Because every time it comes up, it's what a developer has proposed. And there's nothing, you can propose and I can come and request anything I want to. But that doesn't mean it has to be delivered. That doesn't mean you have to change the comprehensive plan for what it was planned for. To preserve this community, to preserve the single-family character of the community. And if you continue to amend the comprehensive plan, it doesn't just affect us, it affects this whole community. And believe it or not, if a parking garage happens to go up somewhere else, it's going to affect that community too. So you got to think past this tunnel vision that this area is insignificant, that we don't matter. We are here, we do matter, and we do have a voice. And it's time for our voice to be heard and not people having the feeling that regardless of what we say or what we come and propose or oppose, that the city turns a deaf ear to. You listen to us, and then you take a vote, and you vote in favor of what was proposed. I just think that the city of Winter Park is better than that, and it's time for the city of Winter Park to take a stand also for all its people, not just the rich and the famous. It's time. And that comprehensive plan was written for a reason, and if you look back, you just keep piecing it, amending it, and why? If someone come in and investigate, they say, well, why was this amended? It was amended because Mary Daniels came with a proposal and she wanted to put $400,000 homes here. She wanted to get more density. We don't need more density into the community. It needs to stay residential. And if I buy property and I bought it and it was R1A, yes, I had a vision that, hey, I'm going to put 5 stories there, but I knew I had to go to the city and I had to get them to concede to this and to give me the approval to do it. But when I purchased this property, I purchased it as R1. There were single-family homes on that property before. And all of that property did not sit vacant for all those years as he proposed and gave you all at PNC. One of the houses he just had recently torn down, which he said they were deplorable. Well, he was renting it to tenants. It was deplorable while he was the landlord and renting it. So it wasn't like that land's been sitting empty all this time. Part of it was, but all of it wasn't. Those homes that was torn down, he was renting those homes. He didn't fix them up. He had tenants in there. They were deplorable and continue to be deplorable under his landlord. So you don't need a rocket scientist to, I'm not telling you all anything you don't know. I really am not. I really am not. And also at that PNC, they say, we had emotions certainly we are emotional. We have a right to be emotional, but we are also factual in what we are saying to you all. We are not just pulling a rabbit out of the hat. We are talking facts. Facts that we know, facts that we see are happening, facts that we see that are not happening, that should be happening. And when I say that, I'm meaning when the residents have spoken and said they oppose, if you go anywhere else in the city of Winter Park, and those residents say, we don't want this, and they say why, it's denied. It is denied. When we come to the table and we say that and we give facts, and fortunately enough, and God is good, sometimes He put us where we need to be, that we were able to pour more meat this time, more substance, in order to prove our point, other than just getting up there saying we oppose to this. But when we oppose to it, you guys have the comprehensive plans, you have the facts. You have the guideline that should be guiding this process. And even if we never showed up, and the history tells us, if you go back and look at all of the things, and he made the statement, I get so frustrated because every time I come here, they just oppose, and then they say, oh, he did such a good job. Well, what he builds looks nice. But if he thinks he's frustrated, how do you think the citizens feel that come together, come to the city, the elected officials that's supposed to be representing everyone, the staff that's supposed to be given the history so that the incoming new leadership knows the history and not sitting there gullible and listening to a developer who's feeding them all of this stuff. Yeah, there were problem areas. But what happened 5-10 years ago was not what was on that agenda. What was on that agenda was what he was requesting. And to give him the opportunity to come back and rebuttal like we were in court, and then the citizens didn't have a chance. But just like when he talked about the property being vacant and all of the time deplorable, he was one of the deplorable landlords. That the property, 2 of the houses that he tore down just recently before they decided to come with this request, those people were people that he had living in, and he was allowing them to live in it, just deplorable. He wasn't doing anything. One of the homeowners that bought one of our land trust homes. Her foot was going through the floor 7 years ago in the same house. So, you know, it's when you, and that's true with anything. When you get up and do a presentation, I can make it look like cream on a cake. And if you don't know any better, and if you don't know the history and the facts, then of course, that looks good to me. I like what I see. And if you're not living in that community, and it's not just African Americans who can't afford $400,000 home. You got people that work at the city. You got firemen. You got people who would love to live in Winter Park, who are essential, who are protecting us and looking out for the whole city. And you'll ask them, they can't afford to live in Winter Park. But yet you continue to approve these things and quote it where someone, and I applaud you for that, because he's not hiding, he's not saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna make him afford and then charge somebody $400,000. He said right up front, it's not gonna be in the $300,000 range, it's gonna be in the $400,000 range. So who do you think those people are gonna be? And just because you see us sitting here and the color of our skin, it does not mean we are not educated. It does not mean we don't have degrees. It does not mean that we, and I can go on and on. And one of the things that really stuck in my craw was when someone made a statement, there is no class of people in that community. The audacity. The audacity. So please, let's get back to the facts. Look at the facts. You have a comprehensive plan that's guiding you. You have a community that's opposing this and coming to you with factual information, not just pulling a cat out of the hat. Listen to the people and act accordingly. It does not make sense. Now, you were Unfortunately, Dora was there, Jeff was out. So when you're saying things that happened at the PNC, this lady was there. She was the one that was, I would say charity, but she was a planner. She's over planning. So let's keep these things factual and let's keep them what they really are. Thank you.
May I speak for a second? I'm a little different position. I'd like to say right off the bat that these two people I don't know aren't bad people.
We're not.
So let's not burn them in the shade. So hold on a second. What I'm saying is they are both smart, they're educated. Now hold on, don't interrupt me for just a second. They believe in their product and they believe it's a good thing. So that's okay to have a different vision. Hold on. That's okay to have a different vision. But I wrote a piece that hopefully Tom will write and put in the voice, and it said how that ship has sailed in reference to Dan Bellows getting respect from the community. And they elected not to run it yet because they wanted to wait till this meeting. And I think unless Dan Bellows had a death in the family or he had a business meeting, which nobody said, I think the honest truth is he would be uncomfortable here. And that's why I didn't come. And that's why you can't. And that's okay. But I think that's the truth. To say it's not necessary is not true. It's because Dan said, I don't want to be at that freaking meeting. Okay. So let's talk the truth about that. Secondly, these people right now would rather go home to dinner because if it's going to be held to R1A by this community, they have no business interest there. And I understand that. The lot value is so high at R1A, it doesn't, the numbers don't work. Let's see, we can build here at one R1A and lose $40,000 of property. They're not going to do that.
He should have thought about that.
He should have. I agree with you. And I would rather be an R1A, and I own 2 properties
Sometimes you don't
directly
put the
across the
top to a
street.
horse. And this community has spoken on that, and boy, I'm gonna have
Let me finish.
I don't want you to sit there as if, we're the bad guys.
If you'll hear me out, I'm not saying that. I think the proper way to do this is you get options on land, you try to get it rezoned. If you get it rezoned, you exercise the options. The cart before the horses. Buy the land, tear it down. Now I've just got a bunch of dirt. I need the city to upzone it. Okay? And that's rude to the community, I think. But the final thing from a planning standpoint is when you have larger commercial, in the world of urban design and planning, it's not normal to go from big commercial to R1A. There's a transitionary period. So from their expertise, that is absolutely true. But if that is allowed, even to R2, the entire blocks between Cape and Denning, eventually everybody will have the same argument. I'm on Lyman Avenue between Cape and Denning, I own these properties, and I've torn down 7 of them, and I want to go R2. So the 40-year from here picture is everything is R2, so it's more $400,000 units. And then the final point is the community talks about the landlords being the problem. Well, I think you need to look in the mirror a little bit, because you got crack addicts here and nobody calling on them.
All of them.
You have serious problems with people behaving poorly, and how many neighborhood watch signs do you see right now? How many people are calling police when fancy cars are coming into at night? And how many, smart, educated young people are moving back into the community? It's not happening. You may be the exception. I wish it would happen all the time, but it's not. And